Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Holy smokes, it's been about 2 years since I've uploaded my last video. That's so crazy. The last one was for Attack on Titan Season 2. There was no way I was gonna miss this season. It's by far my favorite. And you guys, this is the end game. This is it. So let's get to it. How did you guys feel about the intro song? I actually liked it. It was very creepy and the visuals was very warlike. It was all about war. You had soldiers marching in sync. Then you actually had one of the soldiers that had a flamethrower. So I got like World War I, II vibes with it. It was pure destruction throughout the whole song. You see all these soldiers throwing all these bombs and then explosions everywhere with like the mushroom clouds going over. We get a short little clip of Titans falling down, and then we just see death. Like these soldiers are portrayed like as statues, and then they're just being like blown apart. And then we see death. We see like all soldiers on the ground dead in the rain. And then the last shot was 3 Titans that we got. We saw, I could see where there was the armored Titan, there was an unknown Titan, and then we had Eren at the very front. So, and then they went close up on him. But I actually like the intro a lot. This episode is called The Other Side of the Sea. It opens up with a scene of war. It's explained to us that this war has been going on for 4 years between the Marleyans and the Mideast. So the Marleyans' goal is what they want to do is to destroy that fort in order to win the war. Then we're introduced to a lot of new characters. We see 4 kids, and these kids are actually warrior cadets to inherit the armored Titan. So if you guys can remember, Titan shifters only can last 13 years, and I can't even fathom to think about it because I can't even imagine to lose Reiner. So yeah, these kids are the cadets to inherit Reiner's Titan. And the only reason that they're there in the war is because the Marleyans wanted them to be in that atmosphere because they're being judged, because they're going against each other. And on top of that, they have to kind of be in an atmosphere of war because whoever inherits the armored Titan is going to be at war with Paradise. So they want them to be amongst the chaos. So with the kids, at first what I get with them, like of their character-wise, Falco, I can already tell is just like a sweetheart. Like he's caring. He's the first kid that you see that's reaching out to the bird. And you could tell that he even wanted to help one of the enemies, even though the enemy was like, you're tainting me. But he wanted to give him medical care. Then we get Zofia. She's a little blonde girl, and she just seems cool and collective to me. Udo is a reincarnation of Bert. Oh my gosh, she looks exactly like him. He just seems like he's book-wise, like kind of book smart, but just kind of like a panicker, scaredy cat maybe. Gabby, you can already tell she has a very strong character. She also has a slight resemblance to Eren. For what I remember, Isayama, the creator, had based her off Eren, even look-wise. She's also very manipulative and arrogant and brainwashed. She has such hate towards the Eldians on Paradise. She wants to be the one to inherit that armor Titan. So her will is so strong because she wants to be the one to go to war with Paradise. She blames them for being the devils and the reason why that the rest of the world hates them. So she wants them to pay. That sounds very familiar from 3 warriors that we knew in the past, Reiner, Annie, and Bertolt. They had that same ideology until the moment that they infiltrated and were living with the rest of the, Eldians over there, and they were able to find the truth and realize that these people aren't what the Marleyans say, but they were in a really hard position. So it seems like it's happening all over again, where Gabby is now, I'm sure the other ones are, but you could tell she's very, very, has a lot of anger. We're also introduced to Theo-Magath, which he is a general to the Marleyan army, specifically the Eldian unit. And then we get Colt. He's the one that saved Falco at the very beginning. He seems a very tactical soldier. He has good plans, and he's not as scared to say anything, because even though that the Marleyan ups, whatever you call them, the generals, they kind of talk down to him and demean him. He still tells his ideas, and his ideas seem pretty good. Right now, there seems to be a disagreement between Magath and him with the plan that's going on, where Magath is like, we need to protect the Titans. The Titans is our ultimate weapon, and we can't, we can't bear to lose any of them. Like we lost Bertel and Annie, which the Colossal and female Titan. Whereas Colt is like, you want to send out these 800 soldiers, where you can send the Titans to destroy everything first. So he's more of like not wanting to send the people, where Mag is like, send them first. My Titans are the Titans are more, are more important than, so that's why that they're kind of like going against each other in that part. Mind you, these 800 soldiers are Eldians, not Marleyans. So these poor Eldians are doing the dirty work of the Marleyans. And it's so messed up because the Marleyans are like, oh, you know what? In order to atone for your sins of being spawn of the devil, you will fight for us in honor of Marley. So it's like, you see these poor Eldian guys are like petrified of going to war. And some are even like strapped up with bombs. And they're just shaking in their boots. And yeah, they're pretty much in war for Marley. We get Gabby again, where she wants to prove herself. So she's like manipulates Magath of like, you know what, instead of sending that out first, I'll do it. I will, because we get these new weapons. They're called armored titans, but they're like tanks. And these tanks have anti-titan like artillery on them. So one blast can just destroy one Titan. So she wants to, destroy them. So she manipulates Magathan of, doing her little innocent girl thing of, oh, I'm just a little innocent girl. I'm not going to do anything. So she goes up there, throws the bomb, and destroys the whole tank. Then she comes back, and right when she comes back and she's being shot at and Falco's trying to save her, we get the Jaw Titan. And the Jaw Titan's name is Galliard. I hope I pronounced that right. But that little shit is fast and agile, and he's going around clawing the shit out of everything. I loved his design, animated. It reminded me like a little lion. He's just so small and just cute. But I loved it. Then, oh my gosh, we see a Zeppelin, like a wartime Zeppelin. And this was the moment that I've been waiting for, to see time skip Reiner and Zeke. Reiner's design, oh, Beardner. I love his beard. Oh my gosh. I had to like go back like 20 times to see that. I had to like print out the picture and like put it on my wall. He's like manly structures is just so strong. I love Reiner, and him, oh my gosh, time skip is just so handsome. He's such a hunk of Saurus. Oh my gosh. But so we see Eldians in these like strap jackets, and they don't look like they're totally mentally there, like mentally impaired. And then we get one of the soldiers, Marley and Sawyer, say commence the airborne assault, and I'm like, no, my gosh, what? Then it cuts up to the scenes of all the 800 Eldian soldiers now going into the war to the front. And they are just getting demolished, like completely killed. And we finally see the Cart Titan. She's she's there, and she has a full arsenal like on her back. Like they're just, so she's got some armor now, which is pretty cool. I love her design. And then we see the Zeppelin above the fort. It's literally above. We see the poor mentally like Eldians being flown out, or like they're pushing them out. And Zeke does his scream and transforms them. I was like, to see this animated was so amazing. Like, wow. So these Eldians were able to transform because they were injected with Zeke's spinal fluid. So that's why he's able to control them when they transform. So they pretty much, the damage of impact, even though half of them were killed, they did so much damage just being on impact. And then we see them, straighten up. And then I just got vibes of season 1 when the Titans infiltrated the walls, of them just eating the soldiers. Like, so I totally just was brought back to season 1 on that part. And it was just terrifying. Oh my gosh, just to see them eat, when the blood, it's wow, so crazy. Reiner's intro to the battlefield was epic. We're also reminded he does not like walls. But because of the anti-Titan weapons being made, we do see the damage that it does take on Reiner. Those weapons go right through him. But regardless, he's still doing a lot of damage. Even when he had his whole arm blasted off. At one point, he was one of those fullbacks doing the shoulder charge, and he destroys that armored Titan number 2. And with the wreckage, he does more damage by throwing that. Then we get Monkey Boy Zeke coming down, and he's back at it again with them baseball pitches. And wow, he loves throwing those rocks or whatever. I think he was throwing they were like bombs. They're like little bombs. But then we have Reiner take a huge hit for him, and Reiner is just taken out. Zeke then finishes off the Navy fleet that was sending missiles at them. And I think the eeriest part for me for that was when you see the battleships and the people just sinking down. That was just so eerie for me, and just shows you what war does. In the end, Marley won, and they got a peace treaty from the Mideast, and they came to the realization that they just cannot depend on the Titans anymore, that the era is done because of all these anti-Titan weapons being created. So at this point, they're like, we need this founding Titan ASAP, because yeah, we need the power of the Titans, that main power. Then we get a flash into back to Marley, and all the Eldians there are celebrating the victory of war that they had won. And then we see this figure just walking around, and you can't see anything just very much from the face down. I'm pretty sure people can figure out who that is. A really long face. He now has a very nice chin strap and longer hair. He looks good. I think I'm a woman of facial hair. I like him like that, looking like that. You guys, this episode was just hands down amazing. Oh my gosh. It was so action-packed. The animation was so beautifully done. I know that a lot of us Attack on Titan fans were really nervous because Wit Studio had been in charge for all of Attack on Titan except for this year, for the last season. So we're like, oh my gosh, this is the last season. This is like one of the most important parts. We don't know the studio, but I have no complaints. There was even a point I had a double look. I'm like, is that CGI? When the Armored Titan was fighting, I was like, what is that? Is that 2D? But I could barely tell. It actually flowed in very well to me personally. I know I'm not a fan of CGI whatsoever. When they did the Colossal Titan back in the other seasons, it looked like crap. I hated how he looked with the CGI. But this, I barely even noticed anything. So I am beyond happy how this all turned out. So Mappa Studio did this seasons, and Mappa Studio, you did an amazing job. Oh my gosh. I think what was very interesting that the title of this episode was The Other Side of the Ocean, when the last episode of season 3, where Aaron's looking across the ocean, was The Other Side of the Wall. So it's like, wow, Isayama, you're just a freaking genius. So from what it looks like, we're now seeing the perspective of the enemies, of what Aaron thinks the enemies are, so we're now introduced to all these new characters. We're going to be learning their stories. So now we're learning the side of Reiner and the Eldians over on that side. So I just think that those two names are just like perfect. But Nishiyama is just overall a genius. I love this. Just this anime is just so different from any other shonen that I'm just so excited for the rest of the season. Other than that, the outro, real fast. It was a very sad outro. It was an emotional one. It featured Falco, and there's just a strong tie with Falco when it comes to birds. You can already see from the intro of the episode that he's reaching out for the bird. And then his name is Falco, Falcon, kind of like that. And even with this intro, he's reaching out to the bird. So that could be potential foreshadow or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's just, wow. I just can't get over how amazing this episode was. What did you guys think of the episode? Any complaints? I have none at all. I'm so beyond happy. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? And thank you guys for coming back to join me of my reviews again after being so long away from this. If you guys would give me a like, that would help me so much just to get my channel kind of up and running again. And I thank you guys for just, supporting me And, you know, from my Reiner page to, you know, Instagram, thank you guys so much. Have a great night, guys. Until next week, till the new episode, all right? Take care.